The Manson family murders are some of the most infamous crimes in American history, marking the brutal end of the 1960s counterculture. Led by the charismatic yet twisted Charles Manson, a group of young followers committed a series of horrific murders that shocked the nation and left a lasting scar on Hollywood and beyond. Stay with us as we delve into the chilling story of the Manson family murders and the twisted mind behind these senseless killings. Charles Manson was a career criminal and aspiring musician who built a cult-like following in the late 1960s. Manson's followers, mostly young, impressionable women and a few men, were drawn to his magnetic personality and radical ideas. They believed Manson's teachings about an impending apocalyptic race war, which he called Helter Skelter, a term he borrowed from a Beatles song that he twisted into his own deranged prophecy. Manson convinced his followers that they would be safe from this coming chaos and would emerge as leaders of a new world order. Living on the outskirts of society at the Spahn Ranch, a dilapidated movie set outside Los Angeles, the Manson family spent their days indulging in drugs, communal living, and practicing Manson's bizarre ideologies. As Manson's paranoia and desperation for fame grew, he became increasingly dangerous, seeing violence as a means to incite the race war he so desperately believed was coming. In August 1969, Manson ordered his followers to commit the first of what would become known as the Tate-LaBianca murders, acts of pure brutality meant to spark the race war he envisioned. On the night of August 8, 1969, Manson sent 4 of his followers, Charles Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian, to the home of actress Sharon Tate. Tate, who was 8 months pregnant, was living in a secluded house on Cielo Drive in Los Angeles, previously rented by music producer Terry Melcher, who had rejected Manson's music. The events that unfolded that night were nothing short of a nightmare. The group entered the property and immediately began their rampage. Sharon Tate, along with her friends Jay Sebring, Abigail Folger, Wojciech Frykowski, and a young man named Stephen Parent who had just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, were all brutally murdered. Tate was stabbed multiple times while pleading for the life of her unborn child. The word pig was scrawled in blood on the front door, an attempt to further Manson's twisted plan to incite chaos. The next night, Manson himself led a group to the home of Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, a wealthy couple living in Los Feliz. Manson tied the couple up before leaving his followers to carry out the gruesome murders. The LaBiancas were stabbed dozens of times, and words like "rise" and "death to pigs" were written on the walls in their blood. Manson's goal was to create fear and confusion, framing the murders as the work of militant African Americans in order to ignite racial tensions. The brutality and senselessness of the murders sent shockwaves through Los Angeles and the nation. The once idyllic image of Hollywood was shattered, replaced by a deep-seated fear of random violence. For months, the police were left baffled, with no clear suspects and little understanding of the motive behind these horrific crimes. The breakthrough in the case came when Susan Atkins, arrested on unrelated charges, bragged about the murders to a fellow inmate. She detailed the night of the Tate killings and the twisted motive behind them. This confession set off a chain of events that led to the arrest of Manson and his followers. The trial that followed was one of the most sensational in American history. Manson's trial showcased his ability to manipulate and control his followers, who continued to support him even from behind bars. They carved X's into their foreheads, mimicking Manson, and disrupted the courtroom with chants and bizarre outbursts. Manson, who did not physically commit the murders himself, was nevertheless found guilty of first-degree murder for directing his followers to kill. In 1971, Manson, Watson, Atkins, Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten, who participated in the LaBianca murders, were all sentenced to death, though their sentences were later commuted to life imprisonment after the California Supreme Court invalidated the death penalty in 1972.